Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to everybody who's already here in the chat. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the members as well. Great to see you. And big thank you to the mods helping out this morning. We got Nancy's here and Mama Opal and Dip Me in Glitter. This is awesome. We have tons to go over, including some new protest locations when it comes to Scientology and all kinds of stuff today. I'm Natalie. This is Scientology, Life After a Cult, where we talk about the news regarding Scientology that has the internet buzzing. We touch on my time in Scientology, leaving with 3 generations of my family, and I do other content, or at least I'm going to get back to doing it, another video each day. So hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell as well so you get those notifications. And thank you to everybody who's already here and is orderly going over to hit the like button. I heard in the comments yesterday that there was pushing and shoving. So let's just nicely get over there and hit that button. Let's do that. And let's kick it off here with Kelly Copter. Kelly Copter dropped a new video. I'm a huge fan. I love Kelly. And just her ability to put content together in that, doing it where you pre-record it and you edit it and you get it up there like that is just, she's amazing at it in helping to share these stories. And I absolutely love it. And she shared the story, Oh No Nora was on, of Nora's escape from Scientology. And it is harrowing. I'm familiar with I'm familiar with Nora's story, but hearing her tell it here was just, oh my gosh, it's fantastic and disturbing. We're just going to play the beginning part of the video. I'm going to link down below. In fact, you know what? I don't think I did that. I will link down below as soon as we're done. Nancy, can you help me remember not to leave until I link all the videos down below? Yeah, I didn't do that yet. But there will be links down below where you can click on and see all of these videos in their entirety. And if you like what that content creator is doing, go ahead and support them with a like or a subscribe.
And everybody who's holding me is screaming at the person to not open the door.
The IRS issued letters recognizing Scientology, and every one of its organizations has fully tax-exempt.
The length of time from the planet Coltis to the planet Tikiak, which is the name of this planet, was 9 weeks.
27 years in the Sea organization.
And they had elected a fellow by the name of Zemu, could be spelled Xemu, to the supreme ruler.
Oh no, Nora. Hello.
And it goes from there, and it is fantastic. I'm just really glad that she did that, because I've heard bits and pieces too of Nora's story, and just seeing it all laid out like that, it just really, really brings home what happens behind those doors at those blue buildings and other Scientology locations around the world. So definitely check it out. Okay. Did you see? I'm going to share a clip from Apostate Alex, who shared a video of Scientology, and I think it's in Germany. Correct me if I'm wrong, everybody in the chat. If you're catching this on the replay, no slacking. Get into those comments and let me know. I think it's in Germany. It's not in English, but the point is, Scientology is trying to use teenagers. I'm making the assumption that there's teenagers because they look like it, to recruit for staff for the Sea Org, and saying that it's trendy. Do you want to be trendy? If you want to be trendy, come join the Sea Org. I mean, they're totally trying to position themselves as having a lot of young people, and it's a cool, hip place to work. And we know otherwise, but are we surprised? We're not surprised that they're doing this. We're not. Let's take a look at this and let's talk about it. I am going to mute it only because I don't know for sure what's up with the music that's on there. But it basically, you can see it's like, wanna be trendy. And then it shows these 3 girls who look like they're teenagers to me. I would put them at about probably between 15 and maybe 18. And they're, just outside hanging, having a good time, right? Like, oh, I'm with my friends and we're having fun. Let's go on into Scientology. They go on in there, and then look, they become Scientology staff members with their uniforms, and they're helping each other primp their uniforms, and they're going to walk down the hall in a really big like power walk. And this is what's going out to try to recruit young people. And let's be honest, under 18, you are a minor and still in the realm of children, to get them to join staff here. And I'm like, okay, how old are they? Are they still in school? Did they finish school? What's happening? And this whole thing of wanting to be trendy, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right. So that's that. But tell me, what do you guys think about that? I was just like, oh my gosh, they're just seriously, Anna, you're right. Lose your individuality. Join the Sea Org. Exactly. Put on this uniform. And I don't know 100% if they're Sea Org members or they're staff members, but either way, positioning it that way really speaks to too how they're desperate and they're trying. They're desperate and they're trying. They really are. Ren says that Charlie's Angel pose. Yeah, neuropsych, good point. Kids in charge, not a good look. And honestly, that's often the way it is. In the Sea Organization, there's the Commodore's Messenger Organization, which is basically, even if they're 12 years old, you have to call them sir, whether they're male or female. And they are the messengers for L. Ron Hubbard. So if you're speaking to them, it's like you're speaking to L. Ron Hubbard. So you have to show them the same level of respect, but also compliance. You follow their orders. They're there to execute orders from management based on what L. Ron Hubbard said to do. So yeah, interesting to see that though. SPTV Atlanta, not to mention that no teens who speak English ask, want to be trendy? Obviously written by an older person. Or someone, yeah, that's actually a really good point. I don't know if they were older or just somebody who's in Scientology, you know, who's in the cult and just not as in touch with the world outside. Could have been that too. Let's not totally hang this on older people, but really much definitely could be. Lisa says, oh my God, reminds me of getting my first flight attendant uniform minus floppy scarf. Yeah, the uniforms do seem to be a cross between flight attendants and valets and wait staff. Sometimes it's just, I honestly, I'm so embarrassed for them with that. That just must suck to have to wear that uniform. But that's that. Nancy, can you do me a favor and throw in the private chat the link that I missed? Okay, so let's talk about Tori Magoo 44. She does these like Midnight with Tori videos and she drops all kinds of truth bombs. It's fabulous. And she mentions, because Tori back in the day, right, she was in Scientology for a long time. And she's been speaking out against Scientology for over 2 decades now. And she'll bring up these things that were not something in my day because I came on the scene later than Tori did. And one of them is that the Sea Org had these like space uniforms. So you got to see this. We don't have a video of the space uniforms. I wish we did, but it's from way back in the day. But I thought it was interesting. And some of you must have too, because multiple people sent me this that, hey, did you know that Scientology's Sea Org had space uniforms?
Weird time. And the Sea Org wore these space uniforms, not for long, because it was so freaky. But they were like these, literally like things you'd see in the movies for people that are going into outer space. That's what they were wearing with these helmets and, their uniform and stuff like that. And I remember I was just like, oh my God, they must, I thought the place was so dumpy down there. I thought they can't really be going OT down there. So this was my theory at being a hippie and newly out of being a hippie. And
yeah, Tori, her stories are great. She talks about back in the day being a hippie and how different it was in Scientology and even in the Sea Organization, how that changed over the years. It'd be interesting to just kind of like do a video really touching on the differences over the decades, I think, because there really are different experiences. Some of them are back then, right? There's some things that it just intensified as things went, as the Sea Organization grew, as Scientology grew from just being on when L. Ron Hubbard had his ship and the Sea Organization went on to land, and how things changed and evolved, and they doubled down on many of the abusive practices, and how their abusive practice of disconnection comes into play all the way all the way along there. But nonetheless, it's interesting. I just want to see them so bad, but this was so long ago. But if anybody out there by chance has a photo of the Sea Org Space uniform that Tori is talking about from back in the day, I would love to see it. Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. Please send it to me because I'm just dying to see it. All right, let's talk a little bit about Suri Cruz dropping the cruise once again. When she graduated, she recently graduated from high school, got her diploma at LaGuardia High School on Friday with her mom by her side. And Page 6 is reporting she could be seen ringing in the milestone moment by snapping pics with Holmes and a friend in New York, where she resides. And she does. Look how happy she looks. I'm so happy for her. And she's already got her college picked out and where she's going to go. But the thing is, she is not listed as Suri Cruz. She's listed as Suri Noel. And again, it's just interesting. I get on one hand, when you're a celebrity, you don't want to like be in the thing, maybe with your full name. But honestly, I'm believing, this is my thought, I think it's intentional to distance herself from Tom Cruise, because this is not the first time she's done this either, with something where she's going and she's saying, hey, I'm dumping that last name. I'm using a different name. So I think it's interesting. Tell me what you guys think in the chat. Do you think it's just because it makes her stand out more, or do you think she really is trying to distance herself from her dad, who's just like not been around and not being a thing at all? Welcome to everybody who's popping in. Hey, Eric Rader. And did I see Farrell Cheryl there as well? I think that I did. Make sure as you guys are popping in, we're going to orderly go hit that like button as well. Okay, let's go over to Big Blue. L. Ron Hubbard Way. L. Ron Hubbard Way. Confident Chris was out there. And for some reason, Scientology now has a sign out on L. Ron Hubbard Way, letting people know that there is going to be filming there. And if they don't want to be a part of it, and Scientology will own it forever, that they shouldn't be there. And that includes audio, which I think is really interesting, because are they actually doing a video shoot on L. Ron Hubbard Way with their almost deflating slide that they have and their super creepy maze that they think is a good idea to put kids in, especially at nighttime? I don't know, but let's take a look at this and see what this sign says, because it's just like, it's so weird. And again, this is Confident Chris. So it says, crowd notice, consent and release. Scientology Media Productions will be filming in this area today. By entering this area, you irrevocably consent to and authorize Scientology Media Productions, its successors, assigns and licenses to photograph you and make recordings of your voice, and to use said photographs and or recordings for worldwide exploitation in perpetuity in any and all media, whether now known or hereafter devised, for any purpose whatsoever. All such photographs and sound recordings shall be the sole property of Scientology. Property of Scientology Media Productions. Sole properties. Yep. Scientology Media Productions. And you release Scientology Media Productions, its successors, assigns and licenses from any and all claims and liability on account of such usage. If you do not wish to be subject of the foregoing, please do not enter this area. What in the world? What in the name of Xenu and L. Ron Hubbard is happening here? What? I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Do they show up and film something? Or do they have a plan where they're just kind of like, hey, we warned you that we were going to audio record you while you're on the street and use it? They're just use of words, and this whole thing is just bizarre to me. It's weird, right? Irrelevant Panda, gotta love Sciento legalese. They're obviously covering their butts for something. I don't know if they think they're being intimidating, because it's like, you already have cameras up everywhere. You are already doing this. Why they now say this is just bizarre to me. Let me roll the video here.
So I thought they recorded everything already. I thought they could hear me already. You got the point. See, there's always something new here. You guys are gonna be on a movie. You guys are making part of Scientology history too, I guess. Hell no.
Weird. It's just weird. I can't wait to see what your guys' thoughts are on this. It's so weird. Hey, oh no, Nora, thank you so much for being here and for sharing to give a touch assist and subscribey. Subscribey? It's subscribey, I think, when you say it. Subscribey. It's just so weird. Michelle and Reese, is that even really legal? I honestly don't know. I don't know about a lot about releases. Nora, maybe you know because you've worked on a couple of shows there in Hollywood. Is that like pretty standard? What's the deal? What's the deal there? So Jeffy's saying they were probably shooting a video early in the day when not protesters were there. Could be. Claire, they will try to claim all protester videos, copyright, and claim them. Yeah. Yep. Chris is on the job. Jolene, you're right. It's weird. And I think so too. It's another attempt to not have protesters on the street. It does seem to be something along those lines. It's just weird. It's like, come on, man. Like, Osa, listen. You're making it more weird. You're making it even more awkward. You know how you have maybe you have an extended family Thanksgiving and there's always, everybody's got that uncle or that aunt or that grandpa or that grandma who just makes things awkward sometimes. You're making it more awkward than that. You're just making it awkward. It's weird. But you know what? We're here for it. So keep doing it. Just weird. Okay, let's go look at, this is from Confident Chris as well. And this is a good example of Sea Org members there who are being told, do not be videoed by any of the protesters or have your image captured because they go out of their way to avoid it. And you'll notice it's not that way with all of the public in Scientology, the people who are actually not working for a Scientology organization. They seem to, they're not going out of their way to be filmed, but they're not being as over the top as the Sea Org members are. And I suspect, it is my suspicion that there's some type of punishment happening if they're caught that way. And it could just be a reprimand. It could be, more Scientology having to do some type of amends. Just they will find a way to apply pressure to somebody to get them to stop doing what they're doing. Marilyn, thank you for being here, listening and lurking. Natalie calms my demons. I love that. That's right, because demons are not aloha, people. We're not having any of that here. All right, let's take a look at this. You got to watch the Sea Org members walking down, I believe, the sidewalk, and she just does an immediate turn, and it happened so fast.
Look at the Sea Org, not the Sea Org.
Did you see it? I mean, it was she just like, boom. She's coming along. She sees him. Boom. Immediate turn. Then she holds up the paper to try to cover her face without being super obvious. And you'll notice she kind of pulled it down when the Scientology public person walked by because they don't want to be all so obvious of the fact to the public that they're hiding from the cameras or acknowledging that the live streamers and protesters are there. So interesting. I just thought, I'm glad that he caught that, but it really speaks to what, part of what is happening over there. So take a look at this too. Also Confident Chris always seems to catch them with their blinds open and their windows up. And myself and others have shared that in the Sea organization, bunk beds 3 high was common. Some have reported even 4. And we're going to take a look and you can see, I'm pretty sure that it's like 3 high. So let's see. Let's take a look at this. Take a look.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
I think I need more pictures.
So what we're looking at here, this is 3 high because this is not the floor right here. So you can see there's 2 bunk beds, but there's 1 more underneath it. This is how Sea Org members are living. If you're married and you're fortunate enough, if you're married in the Sea organization and you're fortunate enough to have your own room, when I was in the Sea Org and married at 17, which is a big point, really kind of encourages you to get married because then you can move out of a dorm. my husband at the time and I had a room. We shared a bathroom with other Sea Org members. But if you are an unmarried Sea Org member, these are the living conditions, and these bunk beds are stacked row after row. And as we saw there, they're 3 high, and this is how they're living. This is like the next billion years. One would assume, maybe things will change over time, right? That's how they're going to be living. William, Jason, that's my room. Hey, Eric Rader. I saw Mandy earlier too. It really gives you some insight there that they don't like it. I know. But you're not allowed to complain. You're not allowed to talk about it. So you're not really allowed to create any kind of change. There's no real advocate for the staff saying, hey, maybe we should improve these living conditions. Sometimes they do, I will say, and the higher you go up in the Sea organization, usually the better the food and your accommodations get, unless you get on the bad side of David Miscavige, and then you're locked up in a double wide trailer with other Sea Org members and held there for weeks, if not months on end. So it just gives you a little bit of a look and a peek there that this is, it happens. This totally happens. Here it is right here. And then next to that will be another thing of bunk beds, pretty darn close as well. So I'm bummed out for them because it is a bummer. Also, while Chris was out, he ran into this is interesting to me because I'm pretty sure this is a course room at the Advanced Organization of St. Hill. I think I've been in that course room. They come over and not just use blind tack to close the blinds, but actually put on a mask to not be identified. Look at this.
What's happening? Look, they put on a mask. Bro, that is crazy. That is crazy. Hell no. Hell no. Even to put on a mask. That is crazy. Wow.
Yep. And Amber makes a really good point here about the bunk beds. So she says that when I first slept at the Big Blue in the 80s, it was 4 bunks high, but then later it was 3 high, and they were metal bunk beds, not wooden. So now they changed it to wooden bunk beds. So I guess that's, they have upgraded it to a degree. There were metal bunk beds when I was there. The wooden ones, look, they do look a bit better. Hopefully they are. You would hope that, but it's nasty. Don't even get me started on the bathroom conditions. Amber, you can probably share some stories about that too. When you're sharing bathrooms with so many people, oh my goodness, or having to walk to the showers, especially if you had to go one building over, it was a whole thing. It was so nasty. So nasty. Let's take a look now we're going to go to Kelly's stream. She's been out there at Big Blue and she found an open window. And you know what, you guys, it looks to me like not only is somebody there, they're not doing anything to stop this communication from coming at them. You see the window is open, there's a light on, and you tell me, I looked at it a few times and I'm like, I think that's a person there. So you guys take a look at the video and tell me if you think there's a person there.
If you want to leave, SPTV Foundation is here, and we just want to make sure you enjoy the rest of your life and you feel free. Love you. SPTVFoundation.org. You deserve whatever life you want to have, and also freeloader debt is not real out here. It will never be enforced in a court of law, okay? There's thousands of us out here that will be your friend and support you and show you a true friendship.
Do you see? Kind of like it seemed like somebody was moving there. I'm not 100% on it. There.
I'm a human rights activist, and I'm here to just let you know that
you can see somebody moving there. That definitely, I think, is a person. And it looked to me like they were even maybe peeking out. But here's what they're not doing. Closing the window. So maybe they hurt her. I don't know. I don't know what's happening there, but I thought that that was interesting nonetheless. And good job, Kelly. I love how she lets him know that help's available and does it with such compassion and care as well. Okay, so you guys are seeing it too. I thought it was somebody there too, peeking out. And that's contrary to, oh, not just shutting the window or shutting the door or being whisked inside. That door stayed open. That person heard it. So Tiffany's saying it was two elderly people in there. Interesting. Loser. Someone was listening and considering it. There were two people in there listening. One guy for sure. Grouchy Mama Bear. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Okay, let's go back and look over at Confident Chris. More from L. Ron Hubbard Way, because they've just got like shenanigans going on there. And as usual, it's not making sense.
You, me. Oh,
I guess we get Chris singing.
oh my life. Someone come watching. Someone stop protesting or what?
I love that. You know what? I might have grabbed a wrong clip because I'm not sure what I had this pulled up for. So let's move on. I had so many clips pulled from him that people sent me. Let's see. So we saw Kelly's invitation while Kelly was on the other side of the buildings on, I think it's on Catalina. No, Sunset. On Sunset, where the Los Angeles Scientology organization is, right at the front there on Sunset, on L. Ron Hubbard Way. It's kind of like where you would go if you're an everyday Scientology public and you're not doing the higher or the upper levels. And there was what looked like a Sea Org member or Scientology staff member on the ground. She looked to be in distress. People in the chat, some were saying that maybe she fainted. I didn't see video of what happened prior, just when Kelly comes up on her. Let's take a look at this and let's talk about it, because this was bizarre and worrisome as well.
Do you need an ambulance? I will call for medical. They're right across the street. Is she okay?
So the person who something is happening to or happened is on the other side of this staff member. You can't quite see her, but you will see her. And Kelly had been there for a little while saying like, hey, are you okay? What's happening? And she's like, she basically says, I'm going to need a thumbs up to know that you are okay. And amazingly, she does get a response.
Well, I don't really trust you. I need her to give me a thumbs up. All right, but I'm going to keep my eye on you. I want to make sure you're okay.
So she's leaning over. So maybe she did faint. I'm not sure what is happening because I've not seen video of what happened right before, but whatever it was, I don't know. And then it kind of looks like, is there somebody in the back of that car or in that car? You see right in that Camry? I think there's somebody in the back or in the front seat of the car. So what we know we have, I got to look at I'm going to keep an eye too and see if any of you know what's happening here, is there's somebody in the front seat of the car. She's down between the cars and this other person is blocking it. Security comes out, grabs her, and then she walks off. So it wasn't like she twisted an ankle or something like that, or she fell down and she got hurt. Not that we can see, but they have her up and then they take her all the way back into the building. And as she walks away, she seems fine. So could she have fainted? Maybe. Could she have been trying to get away? Maybe. I don't know, because we didn't see what happened just before, but that is a good amount of people to escort you back in as well. Tell me what you guys think. What do you think is happening here? They go back into the building. She's got people in the front. She's got people behind her. It's a bit sus. Either way, something happened to her. She doesn't need any assistance walking to go back in. She was down there crouched over with her head down. Could she have, I don't know. And why between two cars? That's what kind of, for me, brings the red flag of like, okay, why is it like they're hiding her? Obviously because there's cameras there and there are people who are recording, but was she trying to get away? I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Some of you are saying that maybe she was trying to leave. Yes, incredibly sus. I would agree. Pippi Longstocking forever. Maybe she was trying to leave. Yeah. Digital connected media, no doctors or ambulance. Andrew says escapee looks like. Yes. Geekadelic. I think the blonde girl was the girl. She didn't give the thumbs up. The blonde did. I think it was the blonde who was the one who was not feeling well or trying to get away or something happened because she had her head. The other woman was blocking, I think, so that she couldn't be seen with her back to the camera. Ginger will snap. That's right. Sad because she still needs medical attention and care. So either way you cut it, she needs additional help, and I doubt she's going to get the proper help that it is. More fun than sitting at home. Hey, Diane says wearing long sleeves in 90-degree heat. It's been hot in Hollywood. That is a really good point too, because they don't get to change their uniforms just because it's really hot out. You're still expected. And let's be real, they're inside all the time. Hopefully, but what's the air conditioned situation like these days? In the public spaces, I know they keep it comfortable, but who knows where she was working. Elise, dehydration, heat stroke, could be anything. Honestly, that is very true. Maybe she wanted to leave. I'm wondering the fact too that she gave a thumbs up like that. She's saying she's okay, but I could also see, I mean, I don't know. There's just so much here that I'm like, I don't know. It's just hard to watch and see because I've known people and I've been in that position where you feel like you need help that you cannot leave and you just want somebody to come save you. But because you're so convinced and indoctrinated that if you leave Scientology, one, your life will fall apart completely because you're a degraded being if you leave the Sea organization, because that's what L. Ron Hubbard said. The other thing they convince you of is that, without going up the bridge to total freedom, without that, you can't survive as an immortal being, and you're just going to end up back at the implant station where Scientology believes between lives we are sent to as thetans, as beings, and our memories are erased, and just that's that. But so that you're not going to have that. That is like what the fear is, and then not to mention that you'll be cut off from all of your friends and family. So there's a lot writing there for people, and that's a lot of the mind control in Scientology, especially in the Sea organization. You're 24/7. You're cut off from the outside world. You cannot have a television. You cannot be looking at mainstream media. You're very cut off. You're very cut off. All right. So let's see here. Let's take a look. Something else was happening weird again on L. Ron Hubbard Way. I know that's not surprising. With the planters. This was kind of funny, actually. This is from Kelly's stream. And, dude is doing his thing with the planter. They're putting in some plastic. It seems as if they're trying to improve upon them. I don't know. Next to him are these tall, what look like, I don't know, bizarre casket looking boxes, which are really to create a wall, I think, because when dude realizes he is being filmed, you'll see what he does. Hey, Laura FM. I was watching it live and it really felt like she fell from heat stroke, and she's an upper executive. So she was keeping the PR in by hiding and walking it off. Oh, Laura, do you know who she is? Was she recognizable? Because you're saying she's an executive, but you're right. That totally would happen. That could totally be it too, completely. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening here.
Well, they're lining them with plastic. Yeah, apparently they want them to be able to hold up with water.
Joe Anderson.
I don't think that's the...
It's okay to leave the Sea Org at any time.
Oh. Slide.
You literally just moved.
The slide. The planter slide. Well, they're lining them with plastic.
Slide, just like, let's just move it over. We'll just move it over behind these casket looking boxes that are just weird by themselves. MD Media 18 was over at Golden Era Productions, which is where all of the Scientology propaganda used to be taped and recorded. Now it's done at Scientology Media Productions right there in Hollywood, which, sidebar, if somebody's not already over there, videotaping, I think it would be a great protest spot, Scientology Media Productions in Hollywood. I know Dan Walks LA has been out there. It's just another spot. You never know what you're going to see out there. I think last time I saw Dan was out there, he ran into some Sea Org members that were like trying to take off in a van. Now, MD Media was at the, like I said, Golden Era Productions base, which used to be a confidential location, at least confidential to Scientologists and Sea Org members. Meanwhile, as the internet grew and Google Maps came out, everybody else in the world could figure out where it was. Take a look.
We want Bob Ferris back. No more kids in Scientology. We want Bob Ferris back. No more kids in Scientology. Scientology commits elder abuse and child abuse, and we're not okay with that. Kids cannot consent. Kids cannot consent.
You'll be able to go check out more of his video as soon as I get those posted down below. And Martha made a good point about those boxes. I think they're converting shipping boxes into planters. Could be. And you know what? Kudos to them for at least, recycling and being able to use it in a different way, even if they are using it to just block protesters and people from coming up there. It's just so weird. Lily says the planter slide sounds like a new viral dance. I agree. Do the planter slide. I agree. KTP to MD Media 18 is a force of nature. That's true. Chuck, do you water plastic plants? Somebody else has posted too. I pulled it up earlier that, they're putting the plastic because it helps the plastic plants grow. Because let's not forget, they had dollar store looking faux flowers put into the dirt and left the price tag on as well. So maybe they're upgrading. Upgrade. Okay, let's go over to Chicago with Windy City Thetan Watch. There is a new staff member. You guys, we've been chatting, we've been talking amongst ourselves here, right? For how long? Saying something's going down in Chicago because they're starting to bring more people in now. They're going to push really hard for Scientology recruitment. They're going to, all of the places where these command teams went and trained at Flag or in Los Angeles. Most of them, though, I think they're at Flag, Florida, Clearwater, and they're sent back to their organizations to recruit, to get people into Scientology, like all the things. It's not working. It's not, but they're bringing in people that we've not seen before. So Windy City Thetan Watch caught one of them, and I don't think I've seen this guy either. It's a really quick clip. In fact, he almost misses the door to the building.
Anything positive to share about the church? Oh, you almost missed the church there this time. So he's a new face. We haven't seen him before. I will say that, right, he almost walked past the door. Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Sometimes too, Scientology will send out Sea Org members from different areas to hold down the fort at a Scientology organization that's just not cutting it. And let's be honest, none of them are cutting it. A lot of them are being held together by Sea Organization members who have to be out there. So what is the deal? Is he brought in for something? Is he just a new staff member? I don't know. Let's take a look at more from Windy City Thetan Watch there in Chicago, because there is a Scientology staff member that he has had interactions with before, because she is a body router, as Scientology calls them. And she decided to have a chat with Windy City to see if she could handle him, maybe confront and shatter that suppression.
No.
I want to ask you to please, don't try to stop people when they come in here. I think that is
Name one time that I've stopped somebody coming in here.
No, I'm talking about, telling them call this and that. That's what I'm talking about.
No, I won't stop doing that because it is a cult. Are you okay with human trafficking? Now, I will say, good on her. The Tory Magoo, let's talk to them rationally. But no, I'm not going to stop telling people that it's a cult when they come in here, because it's a cult. We've seen this lady before as well.
At least she tried. Can you stop calling it a cult? Stop telling people I'm trying to take in that it's a cult. No, we're not going to stop that. That is the whole point, is to interrupt your ability to recruit and get new people into Scientology, because it is way easier to stop them from getting into a cult than it is to get somebody out of a cult. Not to mention, even when you leave Scientology, there's still a long road of recovery ahead of you. So can we just stop that from happening in the first place? I think that that is a successful action, as they would say in Scientology. Let's see. SPTV in Espanol. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thinking how to make a policy that excludes those members of cults who either were born or were brought in as children from arbitration, so their cases have to go through the court system instead. How to make a policy. I'm not tracking, because there is a policy in Scientology of arbitration. We all had to sign these documents, and that's been an issue with multiple lawsuits in the past against Scientology, where they go to court and they've won multiple times, saying, hey, Scientology arbitration is what you agreed to, so you have to do that, rather than having the courts make a decision. And I think there's going to be progress made with that the more it comes forward and it's proved that Scientology arbitration is actually BS. The idea, and we've seen this is happening with Valerie Haney, who escaped from the Golden Era base where MD Media was at, in the trunk of a car, escaped, ran, got away. That's the level of what she had to go through to get away from Scientology. And then later on, when she was able to bring this lawsuit, a judge is like, nah, you got to do Scientology arbitration, where they just re-victimize her again, where she's in there literally with people who were in the room when it happened, when it came to her abuse back in the day, and the reasons why she felt so desperate that she had to get in the back of a car and leave. Now she has to go back to Scientology and sit in, be with these other people who are supposed to have some type of fair and unbiased arbitration. It's complete and utter BS, and a way that Scientology just tries to abuse and hide behind this, we're a religion, that's our religious practice type of thing. And it's really sick when you think about it, because some of the things that Scientology practices are abusive, but because they're under this, it's a religious practice, there hasn't seemed to been as much success in going at them for stuff like that, but doesn't mean we're not going to continue to expose it and talk about it. Now, over also in Chicago, Windy City ran into what looks like a family coming out of there who are probably new. I don't know what the backstory is, but he let them know what's what.
Would you like to learn anything about this cult? Would you like to learn anything about the bad behaviors of this cult? They won't let women report sexual abuses against them. They're in human trafficking. Just if you read, okay, I'm telling you that it's just a money hungry thing. If you could just please, if you look here, you'll find a lot of information. Xenu.net, that's all I'm asking you. Please just do the research. And I understand at the lowest level, it's very innocuous and it's good self-help, but it becomes very expensive very fast, and they have a lot of crimes that they're responsible for.
He goes ahead and gives her one of his cards. He made these little business cards giving information and website where people can go to learn more about Scientology and the truth about it. And I think that that is so smart and wise, because in that moment, sometimes it's a really brief interaction, but if you can hand somebody something that's simple, because they're not likely to read anything that's too super long, but here's some info, go to this website. They might just be curious enough, or if they're just starting to look into it. And we've seen that happen. There was a guy just, what was it, a month and a half ago, who Wendy had run into outside of Scientology, let him know what was up. Later on, the guy contacted him through social media and said, I looked, I found out. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not going to be involved. Tamara, how old were you when you signed contracts? I think I signed my first Sea Org contract when I was maybe 13, but every time you do a course in Scientology, after a certain point anyways, you didn't used to be back in the day where they really came out with those forms. I want to say was the late 80s. It was a whole evolution to get them implemented so that every time you do a new service in Scientology, you re-sign this form, which is long in very small print, which basically is you're not going to sue them. That's kind of like the gist of it. I do believe that it is. All right, let's take a look at, there are some new Scientology locations being unlocked that people can live stream or protest at if they so choose. Let's take a look at this one. Where is this? This is, let's see. Where is this? I do believe this is in St. Pete, and she's going to go ahead and describe what is happening. So let's pull this up and let's just take a look and have her tell us where she's at.
It's a Thursday, so I thought I'd come down here and see if I can get my stats straight up and vertical before 2 o'clock. This is the Dianetics and Scientology Life Improvement Center.
So this is in St. Petersburg, Florida, their Life Improvement Center. And it just looks like most Scientology places, dead as all get out. I'm going to link the video down below because she takes a look inside and you can see all the debris outside the door. It just looks like they're not even keeping it up. So what's the deal? What's the deal? You like, can we just talk about for a minute? Life Improvement Center, Scientology. You want to improve my life? You want to make my life better? You can't sweep your own front area. It's full of leaves and debris. You can't keep your Life Improvement Center open any decent amount of hours because you don't have the staff. Why don't you have the staff? Because Scientology doesn't work and they have abusive practices and people tend to leave. It's like Life Improvement Center. Come let us improve your lives, even though our place looks like crap and we are not very pleasant people, and it just reeks. It reeks. It gives desperation. It gives empty. It gives apocalypse, to be honest. But isn't that kind of happening though? Isn't this kind of Scientology's apocalypse? There are literally crumbling. Yep. Oh, look at that. Just when I said that, Julia too. Scientology is crumbling. That is true. Not fast enough for me, but we're just going to keep on keeping on because we are getting there. And raising more awareness to prevent people from going ahead and joining Scientology in the first place. Let's take a look at Plant City. That same streamer, I think it's Definite Trouble Source, was also at Plant City, which is also there in Florida, taking a look at another Scientology location.
All right, so that's the building. It's that big. Looks like there's enough stairs, and nobody is manning it. There are enough staff here. Let me see if there's any signage on the door that would indicate their hours of operation. No. But there's a police notice.
Ooh, what is that? I can't read it. Maybe somebody else can. Police notice. Oh, I definitely can't read that. Yeah, no hours of operation, but here's a police notice. Like, what in the world, Scientology? Oh, so wake back up. Seriously. You have these, it's just like in Clearwater where they have all these Scientology front group offices and they look, now these don't even look nice, but in Clearwater, they look nice. Nobody's there though. Nobody's there. It's like North Korea. It's just this facade being put up. It's a physical manifestation of what I think Scientology really is about. That's what I think. That's what I think. Let's go take a look at a purification center in Harlingen, Texas. A purification center. What is that, Natalie, you ask? It's like how it sounds. It's a center set up to deliver the purification rundown, which you guys know is Scientology's solution for drugs. L. Ron Hubbard said, you know what? Go in a sauna. Take some dangerous levels of niacin, chug it down with some calcium, magnesium. I got to be real though. I actually like the calcium magnesium with the vinegar like they did back in the cult. Now I get it like in a powder form and it's fine, but I kind of miss the vinegar. I think that's why I like kombucha. Anyways, take all of that stuff, go in a sauna for 5 hours a day, sweat out your demons, sweat out your toxins, sweat out the drugs you didn't do, especially if you're a younger person in Scientology and grew up that way. And now this center is set up to do that, but it doesn't look like anybody's there. Let's take a look at it. Did I already pull it up here? And again, this is in Texas. It's just, purification center. Think clearly. There's an image, a mural there, which looks like it's from Clear Body, Clear Mind, which is the book that L. Ron Hubbard wrote about the purification rundown, encouraging people, by the way, don't know if you guys know this, encouraging people to do it on their own. Not even go to a Scientology center. You can, but you can also do this on your own, just at your little home sauna or your YMCA or your Snap Fitness. I don't know, wherever you go to get your fit on, and there might be a sauna. Can you imagine You go in there, you did a workout, you just go in and you just want to like get that heat, relax those muscles, or, you know, and you run into somebody there during doing the purification rundown in the sauna. How would you know? Because they're probably going to start talking to you about Scientology. It's just weird. When I was a teenager in Hawaii, I remember I was about 15 years old. Maybe it was a little bit before then, actually, because it was before I went to Los Angeles. I could have been as young as 14. And there are people, you know, Hawaii is a destination, and there was a Scientologist, and this would happen, would come to Hawaii for one reason or another. This person was there on business, but he was on the purification rundown. The purification rundown you have to do every single day. Doesn't matter if there's a holiday, doesn't matter what. You are in there in that sauna, chugging down your niacin and your calcium magnesium with vinegar. You're doing that. You're taking all these vitamins every single day. So when you travel, now you're supposed to do this with what's called a twin in Scientology, somebody who goes with you in the sauna. You're both doing it ideally. But oftentimes when they didn't have somebody on the purification rundown, they'd have to find a twin. So there was this older gentleman, and honestly, he could have only been like the age I am now. But being I was around 14 years old, he seemed much older to me, and my job was to twin with him. So I went into the sauna with him, not at Scientology. I don't think they had one. We were actually using the sauna, I think, at the hotel that he was staying at. And my job was just to go and keep an eye on him. It was awkward. It was weird, but one of many ways that this is just absolutely inappropriate. Over in Denmark, we have been watching L. Ron Hubcult and Scientology up north doing an amazing job educating people about how Scientology is a human trafficking cult, letting Sea Org members and staff members know that there is a way out. And they had a conversation with some young men out there, letting them know what's up with Scientology. And L. Ron Hubcult was even sharing his story of being trafficked from Hungary to Scientology there in Denmark.
Yeah, basically I was trafficked from Hungary.
Oh, you were the one being?
Yes. For example, I'm not the only one. There is many people, like hundreds. They are coming to Denmark from different countries, and they are the Scientology church giving them just room and board, basically.
Bed and food.
Bed and food. Nothing
And
else.
work.
Human trafficking is like, you know, like slaves, right?
Exactly.
Kind of like.
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
We're
So how many hours you work per week?
Just very interesting conversation, truly. As soon as I put those links down below, y'all got to go take a look. SPTV Atlanta, doing a sauna and cold dip is a trendy thing in wellness right now. F. Sciento is probably trying to capitalize on that. No doubt. I mean, they've always been trying to promote their purification rundown. I mean, for years, and having these purification centers. I find it's interesting. Where's the need in Harlingen, Texas, or wherever it was? You got so many people running around, want to get their sauna on, that you need a center for it? I don't think so. It's probably part and tied to a Scientology's front group, Narcanon, where they claim to help people recover from drug abuse. So my guess is that's what's going on there. I do remember I watched some of her, more of the video, and I think that was the case, that there was a Narcanon there, and their purification center would just be the area where their sauna is. So there are people who are detoxing from drugs, you know, in those saunas, not with medical help. So I think that is what is happening there. Let's take a look at, you guys, are you like me? Do you sit around and wonder what's happening with Scientology in Japan? I do wonder that, because I like to, when I need a good brain scrub, I like to watch Japanese or Korean YouTubers who show their homes and clean and organize and cook and all of that stuff. So I have actually wondered this about Scientology in Japan. Well, Nasty Nathaniel, who is a First Amendment auditor and seems to be traveling all over, because we've shared a few of his clips, was also in Japan. In fact, Windy City Thetan Watch was in Japan right before the Chicago organization opened, and he did some filming from a distance of Scientology there. Well, Nasty Nathaniel got right out there and had some conversation with Scientology staff members. Let's take a little look at his video.
Oh, thank you. You do.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Where you from?
I'm from California.
Oh, California. Welcome here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? How long have you been in Scientology?
I've been like 5-6 years.
Oh, really? How's it working out for you? You like it?
Yeah, I like it. That's why I'm working here.
Oh, right. Oh, so you're on staff?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I visited many orgs. I've been to Flag.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
I've been to Los Angeles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah, really nice. You know, just real quick question. Do you know Parker Osmond? Parker Osmond?
No, sure.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. He's a very like high-profile Scientologist.
I think I have his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
All right.
Well, yeah, I just want to finish up, get a few little pictures of the outside, and then I'll be on my way.
All right.
I got a train to catch, so.
All right.
Hey, thank you for being very nice. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
No worries.
Wow. Yeah, you too, sir. Take care. Wow, this is really great, folks.
So polite and nice. I think, and this has been something I am very curious about, and I don't know the answer. When your customs in your country or your culture conflict so hugely with the way that Scientology operates and how people are treated, like there are big cultural differences in Japan versus the United States. And, we just saw it. They're just a bit more kind, polite. I'm dying to talk to somebody who's been in Scientology in Japan or other places like that. Cause it's like, how do you, like in the United States, it's different. You're almost used to a level of, not as far as Scientology takes it, but people being rude and not being courteous and, not being aloha all the time. And that is definitely in Japanese culture. It's different that way. So I'm just so curious about that. And I don't know who the person was that he mentioned in the video. Was it somebody Osmond? I don't know who that is. And I've been wondering. So tell me in the chat or tell me in the comments, who is that he mentioned? Because I actually didn't know. I did not know. All right. We are going to take a look now at growing up in Scientology. Aaron did a video discussing how and why Leah Remini's legal team is no longer, that they had to walk away due to a conflict of interest. And they also had to walk away from Jane Doe 1, but she already has a whole team of fabulous, amazing attorneys and will be just fine. But let's take a look at this. This was all very interesting. You got to watch the whole video because there is so much there. We're just going to look at a clip.
They became aware of a potential conflict of interest. You'll notice it doesn't say breach of confidentiality. It doesn't say breach of attorney-client privilege. It says conflict of interest. You're going to see why I'm beating this like a dead horse. Okay. Okay. After investigating the potential conflict, our firm determined it could not continue its representation of Jane Doe 1. Edwards Henderson also determined that it had to withdraw from 2 separate cases. And these cases are, because I'm already familiar with them, one of these cases is Jane Doe's child sex lawsuit, Jane Doe 1's child sex lawsuit, that she was being represented by Motley Rice and Brad and Brittany. And they also had to withdraw, Brad and Brittany also had to withdraw from Leah Remini's lawsuit against Scientology, where she was being represented by Motley Rice and Brad and Brittany.
So Aaron does a whole breakdown of the whole thing. And it sheds such light on what's happening and why and where this conflict of interest is coming from. You got to watch the whole thing. It just like, it would take a while to really be able to kind of like recap it and summarize it. You got to watch it in order, but it really laid that out and gives you a good understanding of why, Leah Remini now needs a new legal team, and Jane Doe 1, though they also had to withdraw, but she already has another legal team all lined up and is good to go. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Marlene, amazing how Aaron can break everything down. I agree. And Julie Firerocks Parker made famous by Nasty Nathaniel, who has 2 Parker tattoos. That's crazy. Like actual tattoos of like his face. I saw a couple other comments where you're saying he has tattoos of Parker, who is a security guard there in Los Angeles. Was it actually of his face? That's like crazy. Baby girl says, I saw this from Aaron. Very informative. Please watch. All right, let's grab Mischief Managed. Thank you so much for becoming a new member. Hip, hip, hooray to you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Lady Victoria, do you have to buy your uniform when you're in the seat, or do they provide it for you? And what if you gain if you're in the seat? So in my day, back in my time, so when I was in the Sea Org, you were given one uniform. Here's your pants, but just one. Here's your shirt. Here's your jacket. If you wanted extra, there was a uniform supply store down the street that was like actually not Sea Org uniforms, but that's where you could get stuff that basically was the Sea Org uniform. I don't know if it was like a military uniform. Any of my Amber, do you remember that? Are you still in the chat? You remember the supply store? It was not far. I remember walking there because if you wanted another shirt for your uniform, then yeah, you had to buy it. Unless somebody else had a way where they were getting more. I know I wasn't where I was. You pretty much were given kind of one set of that, and then you had to make do. Yeah, so that's all I know about that. I don't know if that changed. I do know that as the evolution of uniforms have moved on to flight attendant / valet, that whole vibe and look that they are provided. I am guessing, and if anyone knows, let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments that you are issued one uniform. And if you want more or another shirt, that you're going to have to be the one to get it, which is just next level ridiculous when you think about it. Boxer Heather, I'm going to need a tutorial on your bun, Natalie. Girl, this is one of those wrap it around. This is like, I don't like to do my hair. I just like, I don't know. I'm not good at it. You know, you do your own bun and then you like wrap it around. I'm all about the quick do like that. It's gotta be fast. And I like my hair out of my face. And I am so behind on my maintenance for hair and a whole bunch of other things, but we're getting caught up. Well, never mind. That's a story for another time. I don't want to get too off track, but that's the deal there. Liz Ferris, good morning, my friend. Countdown to hug you. That's true. Yes, we are just weeks away from Tony's celebration of life. And I'm so excited to meet those of you who are coming. And you'll get to meet other people here locally, you know, our families. It'll be great. We're working on getting that all put together. Amber says, I have a picture of the old 90s uniform from Celebrity Center. They look like curtains. Ooh, Amber, I'd love to see that. Can you send it to me, Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com? I'd like to see that. Let's see. You know what? Capricious Caroline, you're hitting the nail on the head. A real religion doesn't reprimand their members. It took me such a long time to understand that. Like, whoa, wait a minute. You guys don't get yelled at. You're not punished. You know, if you're Lutheran, you know what I'm saying? You can just leave. You can walk away. You can not show up for a service and people aren't going to show up at your house or show up to, you know, raise money. I just like it. That takes some getting used to. All right, let's see. Oh, Amber's too saying, I hated showering with adult women and I'm 12 or 13. It was embarrassing. Yeah. Oh my God. That's bringing back memories. The showers. Oh, that's right. Ooh, God, that physically makes me feel gross. Hey, Liz Gale. Oh, God, now I feel like I need a shower. Wow, that really brought back some memories. I felt that. Let's see here. Haggis Basher, did you see Tony Baloney tell Chris and Kelly that the dirt in the planters is good for drainage? I did not. So I assume you're talking about nearby, somebody who's been suspected of being a planter, a Scientology operative. Some people are on the fence about him. He lives around the corner. I did see when they were kind of chatting, but not the comment about how the dirt helps with the drainage. It makes sense, but fake plants don't need drainage. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to put real plants in them. That would be awesome if they did. Haggis Basher also asking, do you think they're moving them from dead missions and org? So moving staff members or Sea Org members from smaller organizations? I don't doubt it. People have to move for a multitude of reasons sometimes, usually not staff members themselves, but they'll get moved. They'll get posted. I was taken from Los Angeles when I had my daughter, my husband at the time, and I, and sent to Seattle, which was considered to be a small failing Scientology organization at the time. And let's be honest, it still is, even though they have this fabulous building that they have, one of those renovated ideal organizations, and they're still paying rent to management for it, despite the fact that the public people at that organization paid for it. They should own it. You know what I'm saying? But no, they're still paying rent to management. They are. All right, I answered that one. Let's see. Itchy Thetans is saying, since minors can't enter into contracts when they sign the renewal, it would be a continuation of the originally signed contract, making it non-enforceable. Thoughts? Oh, that's a good question for an attorney or somebody who knows better than I. I'm not totally sure. They had you sign a new one. You could have like done a course one day, because sometimes you can do a course in a day. You sign one, you start the new course in the same day. You still have to sign one. It was every single time. So they really wanted to make sure that you understood that you are not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to sue them. Eric Rader, how crazy is it that a man who smoked 140 cigarettes per day came up with a purification rundown? Eric Rader, once again, for the win. That is such a great point. I didn't even think about that. You're right. Let's listen to L. Ron Hubbard. You're right. Who smoked like a chimney on purification. Why was that never a thing? There was never, at least in my time in Scientology, in my 35 years, I was never aware, nor did I ever see someone being educated on the harmful effects of cigarettes or Scientologists being handled on their health in that way. I just, because L. Ron Hubbard did it, therefore, and because L. Ron Hubbard said that smoking doesn't cause cancer, that not smoking enough does, I've never seen it. And they follow that. It's ridiculous. You guys see it. You see it out with the live streamers and protesters. We've seen it so much. Look at Austin. Selfless Self, who's been back there at times in the back alley, shocking up there, letting them know it's a cult. They're out there smoking. He's come across good, like whole groups of them smoking cigarettes outside the Scientology organization. We see that all over. Let's see, Just a Northern Girl. That woman eating dinner last night at the cafe, whom Kelly caught, had a pile of pills on the table. Yeah, they're vitamins. They're definitely vitamins. They take a lot of vitamins. I mean, I think vitamins are good for you. They have a role. They have a place, right? But in Scientology, you'll often run into like a lot of vitamin taking, and probably not at safe levels because they're telling you, versus like, hey, maybe you should talk to your doctor and find out if you really should be consuming mass amounts of protein, being that you have a kidney issue. That's what was happening with my mom. When you do Scientology auditing, they're always pushing protein on you because they want you to stay full longer so you can stay in session longer. Oh my gosh, Dempsey's saying Parker, Osmond, Nate. Nate has 2 tattoos of Parker. Parker is a security guard in the Suri. That's crazy. 2 tattoos. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I want to see it now. Aloha, Eric. Thank you for being here. Lady Jane out. Did it ever send up red flags when you had to keep signing those? Why would a church make you sign every time you finish a course? For me, it didn't, because I grew up in Scientology and was just used to them saying, do this. There was a trust level there. Why would it be something that would be bad for me, right? This is my church. This is my group. They're just doing it as a legal requirement. So often in Scientology, I remember being a staff member and these forms coming out, we were told it was a legal rudiment. I don't know if that's just a Scientology word or a word outside of Scientology. Rudiment, legal rudiment. And my understanding for me was like, it's just steps that you have to take to meet legal requirements. But that actually, there's no legal requirement that you sign away all of your rights to Scientology every time you do a course or service. It did make me wonder, like, wow, they're kind of over the top about this whole not suing us. What happened? Usually any place doesn't come out with this level of NDAs and other things, and having people sign that they're not going to sue if they're not trying to hide something, or if they weren't sued before, if there wasn't an issue. But you don't know that in Scientology because you're not allowed to look, and no one in Scientology is going to tell you about the legal issues in Scientology over the years. You find these things out when you leave, and then it makes sense. And then you see it for what it is. But at the time, no, you think that, no, that's fine. This is a thing. I'm just signing it. It's just a thing. Neurosac, I really like your background. I want that blue lamp. Thank you. I've been playing around with it. I brought more lights. I had told you guys, like, when Tony passed, it just needed to be different. It needed to be just a complete, obvious before and after. And I'm liking it too. And I think you would have liked it a lot. I had talked to him about it before it passed, and he's had some ideas and stuff too, some of which I'm going to use. But yeah, it'll be a work in progress. Maya, aka Allison Art Supply, thank you for becoming a member. Hip hip hooray to you. I appreciate that so much. Be sure, you guys, if you see something, say something. Email me, Natalie@lifeafteraCult.com. If you're watching a video, a streamer you like, and you see, clip something, if it's under a minute, or send me a link with a timestamp and tell me what I'm looking at. Because sometimes the timestamp can be off. So you always want to tell me what I'm looking for so that I can quickly find it. If you're a live streamer or protester or a creator out there, send your own links. Let me know. You know your content better than anybody. So go ahead and get those clips or links sent over as well. And we'll see if we can't highlight them. We can't get to everything every day all the time, but I try and cover as many of them as I can. Donna Davy, is Tony's celebration of life going to be streamed for the many of us who can't go? I think maybe to some degree, because Tony and I talked about this. We talked about everything of what would happen after. And he was like, he was fine with it because his whole thing, exactly what you're saying, his whole point of view was, hey, we've gotten such amazing support from this community and so much cheerleading. And there are so many people that aren't going to be able to make it, most, that, we should make it available. So whether that'll be a camera in the corner, but if other people are there and want to live stream, I'm totally okay with it because he was. And I think it honors, and it's a way too of showing thanks and gratitude for the so many people who helped. Now, having said that, if you see on Facebook, there's some fake pages, I think we're down to one now, claiming that they're going to be streaming Tony's funeral services. One, it's a scam because it's not a funeral service. He didn't want that. He wanted a celebration of life. He wanted people to come together and celebrate not just his life, but life, and be together and have a good time. And that is what's going to happen. So there definitely will be live streaming there. I haven't decided yet, like exactly, if I just put something in the corner, and then maybe just mute the volume. I don't know, because I don't want to set up a camera, unless everybody knows. And there's going to be so many people coming and going that I want to be respectful of the audio, but want to share it as well. So we'll see. However it goes, I think that it's going to, just progress and get it figured out. I'm so thankful for the people around me who are reminding me of like, hey, we should, do you need like a guest book? I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I was talking to Sandy McKenna, and I think it was Sandy who reminded me. And these are just things I need to start thinking about. I need to make a list. And I really have not. I've been really focused on home and getting things, in order, and obsessively cleaning and organizing, because for whatever reason, that is making me feel better. So that is what I am doing. It's funny. It's weird because now I'm, I still talk to him sometimes out loud. I mean, the dog's here, Odin's here, but sometimes it just feels right. It does. Neuropsych, thank you. We love you no matter how you do it. This is for you. I appreciate it, but I really feel like it's for all of us. Us, our family, the people close to him here, but this was an important community to Tony. He loved this community. He was blown away by the support and the kind words. We would read the cards to him. He loved it. His sons have been going and reading. I've been going through them as well. It's just been amazing that way. All right. Oh, Hermie's asking, how's Odin? He's doing all right. Odin. So Odin is our dog who will be 8 in November. He's a giant schnauzer. And I got a harness to walk him because Tony would just we don't have a fenced in yard. Tony would just take Odin out and Odin would listen to him. Mostly, for the most part. Sometimes he wouldn't, but mostly he would. And Odin doesn't listen to me that way. Not yet. So I got a harness to put on him. I got a new leash that's easier for me to hold on to. And we've been working on it. I've got him trained now where he'll stand by the door, because he used to rush the door, and I open the door and tell him to stay, and he'll stay. And then I say, go, and he goes. But I got to be ready to go when I say go, I realize, because he starts taking off and I get dragged down the stairs. But he's doing all right. I can tell something's up though. He's whining a lot. And he's coming around more now. Whereas when he was with Tony's boys for the first week, I think. And then when he came home, well, for one, he was misbehaving over there. I think he just wanted to be home. He needed to be home. And I have had a lot of comfort in having him here. He is just a teddy bear. Sometimes, when he doesn't listen to me, we argue, but he's doing all right. Odin is doing all right. We're starting to take little walks and do that. And I think that's going to help him with listening to me as well. And we'll get there. We'll get there. I agree, Joe. Dogs just know. He knows. He knew before. There were 2 days in the week leading up to Tony passing where Odin wouldn't go near him. If we were standing outside, Odin would be as far as his leash would take him. He never would. Odin usually doesn't sleep in our bedroom. He likes to kind of move around in different spots, and he wouldn't come out of the bedroom. He was staying in there because Tony mostly was trying to sleep in a recliner in the living room. And he just didn't want it. This went on for about 2 days. And then it just completely changed. Then Odin started putting his head in Tony's lap like he always would. And then it seemed like it was fine, back to kind of to normal. But they do know. I did some Googling because I thought his behavior was so weird. And apparently some dogs can even smell cancer. And Tony was on one of his medications, the chemo that he was taking. We had to be careful about his bodily fluids because the chemo drug could be in it and it's not good for humans or pets. So we had to take some precautions. And I don't doubt too if he could smell that or what it was, but I was just glad that he came back around. But you're right, Brian. He agreed that he knew that something was wrong. I agree. Sharon, do you think he senses Tony's still there? I think so at times. I do sometimes. The other day, I moved this ukulele that we have that was Tony's. And like I said, I've been moving things around because I just need it to be different. And I moved it above the fireplace. And I took good care to make sure it was up there solidly because it's important to me. And I had a friend over and we were chatting and Odin was there by us. And this thing just fell off. It was a big ledge. It wasn't like it was on the ledge and teetering. So I don't know. Can't quite explain it. We've had a couple of kind of funny things like that happen. And always during the day, which Tony and I, when we talked about what was happening and what would happen, he would say that he wasn't afraid to die, but he was excited to see what was next. And then he said he would try to find a way to let me know. But I told him, don't do it at night. And interestingly, some of the little odd things that have been happening have been during the day. And I appreciate that. Whatever it is. Sarah says Tony didn't want it up there. I think it'd be okay with it. I think it's just, and the thing is, I don't know what I fully believe now, post Scientology, where the belief is that you would go to the implant station, have your memories wiped, and then you would go and get a new body. Or if you were high up enough on the bridge to total freedom, that you could avoid the implant station and causatively go join another Scientology family. And I just know, I feel like I don't know what happens exactly, but I know that there's energy. We're energy. When Tony passed and I went back in to say my final goodbye in the hospital, it wasn't him. It was just so obvious that it wasn't him. And I had thought that, when he passes, it's like they're going to be dragging me off of his body. And it wasn't hard to leave his body there because it was so obvious that he wasn't. And that was interesting. I felt that same way when my mom passed as well. And I have his remains now here at home, and we're working on a container for them for the celebration of life, and that I'll use to take him home, my home in Hawaii, with his boys to go ahead and scatter his ashes there. And that's been interesting too, that's why I'm glad we're doing it. And thank you everybody who helped make this happen. I'm glad we're doing it shortly after the celebration of life, because I don't think I could let them go. I could see myself just keeping them. And he just said, Tony didn't want to stay in Minnesota. He talked about often, like, where, one day maybe we would move. More him. I want to stay close to our kids and grandkids, but that's what planes are for. He didn't want to be in Minnesota. And definitely after he passed, he was very adamant about it. and wanting to be. Hawaii, and specifically when he was on the Big Island, he said was the place where he felt the most at peace. So there he will be. And we're going to get that done just a couple days after the celebration of life. We're going to go. And it's going to be great. And then, his son needs to go back to college. His other son needs to go back to school, high school. And I think it'll be healing and a beautiful thing. And we're going to do it in a way that I know that Tony would love it and be in alignment with what he and I talked about. He talked about with the boys too, about what his wishes were and what he wanted. And we're going to do that. So thank you again to everybody who made that possible in order for that to happen. I appreciate it so much. Karen says, my mom died at 2:37 a.m. in the hospital. When we got to her house, the kitchen clock had stopped at 2:37. Wow. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's something. I don't think it's that we die and then that's all there is. That I don't believe. But I also don't believe that we go to the implant station, get our memories wiped, and come back and get another body. I don't know what it is. I just know that it's more than the physical body that's there. Corn Freak says, I have been with my husband 30 years since I was 18. I hope I go first. Wow. Congratulations. That is a long time. Yep. Lori, I totally understand. I loved Hawaii and it's so beautiful and calming. Yes. Anybody who's been there, growing up there, I thought the whole world was like that. I didn't leave Hawaii till I was 13 years old. That's the first time I went to the mainland and went to California when my mom was marrying my grandpa. And we had gone to Disneyland. And where'd I put my tissue? That's what I get for moving the box. Anyways, we're going to wrap up, but it was the first time I had left Hawaii. But you're right. It very much, when I go back, when people are going, I tell them just really connect with the energy there. It's magic. There is something different about Hawaii and the land and the ocean around it that I feel like you can feel it. Even if you're not from there. I was born and raised there, and on my dad's side of the family are Hawaiian and we're always there. But, yeah, it is magical. It is absolutely magical. Yo, Adrian. Natalie, you're showing people your honest grieving, and we can learn from you that we can all do our own thing and find our own comfort and new place in the world after loss. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's helpful to me. Like I've told you guys, I want to come on and do the recap. And, it's very different of how I thought it might be, but in a good way. Like, because Tony and I had so many conversations, I'm not doubting myself. I'm not doubting decisions or what needs to be done next, because we talked about it, and I feel good about that. And I know how much pain and discomfort he was in, and he's not now. And he handled it so amazingly well at the end. I would have been terrified, absolutely terrified. And he wasn't. Scared is something he was not. He was very concerned about leaving myself and, his sons behind, but he wasn't scared. He was curious, and he was ready. And he said, I would hear him tell people, he was relatively young at 53, but Tony would often say, he's like, there are children with cancer who are facing the end of their life. And he'd say, I'm an adult. I've lived for, 53 years, and I've lived multiple lifetimes, it feels like, because he did a lot. He traveled a lot. He loved his work. There's just so much that he felt he did. He traveled. He had so many adventures that he felt like he had lived a complete lifetime, even though he wanted to be around more. And that's right. He did it his way. He said from the beginning, I'm not going to shrink away and get sick and because he watched his father pass, and his father had gotten really skinny in his cancer battle. And he's like, I'm not doing that. And he didn't. He had gained weight through when he did hormone therapy. And so when he started having that, like a lot of weight loss, he got down to basically what was his fighting weight, was his weight before he got sick. So he looked great, and he put on such a brave face, even when we would go into the doctor's office, And the nurses were amazed because he had such a great attitude, and he always still thought about other people and would greet them and want to know how they were doing and would joke around with them and all of that. I mean, let's be real, Tony was very charming, and I love that about him. And I loved how he was able to connect with other people and just be so open. But more than anything, he liked to have fun. He loved joking with people and having fun and laughing and playing music and singing and all of those things. And that's what we hope to do, not just in Hawaii when we go, but even at the Celebration of Life. I should maybe make sure there will be a microphone. So if anybody does want to sing, let me know. So anyways, that's what we got here, you guys. Please be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button before you leave. Check your subscribe button. I appreciate all of you. We shall see what's happening later today. I've got a whole list of things I'm dying to do videos about, but I'm just taking it a day at a time. If, I start out each day because I do these recaps in the morning, and it really helps me just kick off my day in a really positive way. But, yeah, so I always think, well, yeah, I'm going to do a second video, and then the day goes on. And honestly, I've got so much to get caught up on. And sometimes I just want to be, and I'm like, no. So it'll happen when it happens, but it's coming because I can barely contain myself with some of the topics that I want to talk about and get into. So thank you guys so much for your kind words here. I appreciate you. More fun than sitting at home. Diane says, Tony did not want you to see him at his worst. He wrote an amazing email to Jack that showed his strength, courage, and bravery. He was ready for him. Yeah, he was. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you on the next video. In the meantime, I hope everybody gets out and finds a way to have an amazing cult-free day.